let's dive into the Croatian restaurant scene in 2024. I mean, you sent me this blog post, and it's it's pretty critical.
Yeah.
And funny, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the author, he definitely has a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But he's making some good points, too.
Absolutely. It's not just like complaining for the sake of it.
Yeah, like he's actually, I think he's trying to hold up a mirror
Right.
to the whole industry, to the dining scene.
Exactly. Like asking those tough questions. Yeah.
Totally. So should we jump into those prices? I mean, that was the biggest thing for everyone last year, wasn't it?
Definitely. I think, well, everyone's feeling it, right?
For sure.
Inflation, rising costs, and
Yeah.
restaurants are dealing with all of that too.
Yeah, globally. But this blog post argues that things were, well, maybe a little out of control in Croatia.
Yeah, especially on the coast. And, well, it is a seasonal business, right?
Right.
So you have these places trying to make enough to survive. But I think they might have gone a little too far this year.
Too far with the prices.
Yeah. The blog post actually specifically calls out wine. Like the markups were, well, they were driving people away.
Really? Just because of the wine?
I mean, think about it. If you feel like you're being gouged on the drinks.
Yeah, you start to wonder about everything else, don't you?
Exactly. Like, are they being fair with the food prices too?
That's so interesting that you bring that up because the blog talks about that too. Like, it wasn't the fancy places that jacked up their prices the most. It was those everyday spots, the casual ones. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question. The blog doesn't really go into that specifically,
Yeah, I guess not.
but I have some theories.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so fine dining, right? Those places already have a certain kind of customer.
Yeah, people who are willing to spend more.
Exactly. And maybe they're less sensitive to those, well, smaller price changes because they're paying for the whole experience, right?
Right, the ambiance, the service.
All of that.
So those smaller, like, local restaurants,
Yeah.
do you think they were maybe trying to make up for slower months
That's very possible. Trying to capitalize, basically.
on the tourist season?
Yeah. Which, I mean, the blog points out that can backfire if people feel like they're being ripped off.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
no.
it can alienate your local customer.
Exactly. Makes them feel like, well, like maybe these places aren't really for them anymore.
Yeah, just for tourists.
Yeah.
Which, kind of ties into the next thing I wanted to talk about, the service. Because the blog definitely does not hold back.
No, it doesn't.
And, I mean, I think everyone has a bad service story.
Oh, absolutely.
But what was it specifically that the author was calling out?
So he talks about a bunch of things like waiters not knowing the menu.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. Or like just not seeming to care. And slow service.
Painfully slow.
And even like some real unprofessional behavior. But the thing that really stuck with me was his story.
His own personal experience.
Yeah. He waited like forever for his food. And then they brought him the wrong dishes. And the waiter argued with him about it.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty bad.
I can just imagine how frustrating that must have been.
And it's not even just about the inconvenience, right?
It's like you're not being respected.
Exactly. Like, you don't matter. But to be fair, the blog post does go a little deeper.
Oh, yeah. Into, like, the why.
Yeah. So, like, the labor shortage, right?
Yeah.
Huge problem. And it forces restaurants to hire people who, well, maybe aren't really ready.
Yeah, or they're relying on people who don't speak the language, haven't been trained properly.
Exactly. It's tough for everyone. The blog actually argues that restaurants need to invest more in training, in better working conditions.
So that they can attract and keep good staff.
Exactly. It's an investment, not just a cost.
Interesting. Okay, so we talked about prices, service, but there was something good too, right? Like the rise of Asian food.
Yeah. It's great to see more options, right? More diversity.
Totally. But the blog had some reservations.
Yeah, because, well, a lot of these new places are kind of, I don't know, generic.
Generic Asian food.
Yeah. It's like they're offering a greatest hits, but like a watered down version.
Oh, I get it. Like it's not really authentic.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be kind of disappointing for people who are looking for the real deal.
Right, because it gives them this wrong impression.
Totally.
So diversification is good. But the blog is urging people to be more, well, picky.
Yeah, to seek out those truly authentic places. And, I mean, it challenges us too, right?
To be more adventurous.
Yeah. To try new things.
Yeah.
To ask questions.
Yeah.
And to support the restaurants that are really doing it right.
Makes sense. Okay, speaking of trying new things, how do restaurants actually stand out? I mean, there are so many out there. The blog called them copycat restaurants. What does that even mean?
So picture this. You're walking down a street full of restaurants, and they all, like, blend together.
Same menus, same decor.
Yeah, like you could switch their signs and no one would notice.
It's like a mass-produced restaurant.
Exactly. And the blog is arguing that it's all because they're, I don't know, they're missing a connection.
A connection to what?
Their identity. Like local identity.
We're just trying to copy what's trendy.
Right. And they're missing out on this huge opportunity to use local ingredients to tell their story.
To be unique.
Yeah, to be Croatian. Like, come on. There are so many amazing ingredients here.
Okay, so we've talked prices, service, authenticity. But there's one more thing we have to get to.
The Dubai Fritters.
That's right. The blog spends a lot of time on this phenomenon. And honestly, I'm a little baffled.
Okay, so first we should probably explain what we're even talking about.
Good point. Fritual, right?
Yeah. So they're these traditional fritters, like little fried dough balls. And they're super popular, especially during the holidays.
Okay, so what's so special about the Dubai ones?
Well, for starters, the price. They were ridiculously expensive.
Really? For just fritters?
Yeah, and that's where the controversy comes in.
So they were popular, but also controversial.
It was like this viral sensation. People were lining up to try them, but everyone was talking about the price, like how crazy it was.
Oh, I remember this.
The blog actually has this whole bit about it, like a mock awards ceremony.
Wait, really?
Yeah, for the biggest culinary fail of the year.
Oh my God. And the Dubai fritters won.
They did. They got the Ujigli Pelin Award.
The what?
Ujigli Pelin. It means Rancid Wormwood.
Okay, that is hilarious.
The whole thing is very tongue-in-cheek, but the point is serious.
Like, about value for money.
Exactly. The Dubai fritters were overhyped, overpriced, and, well, not really that special. The jury even compared it to, like, selling sand from the Sahara at the price of caviar.
I love that. So it's like we're getting caught up in all the hype.
And we're losing sight of what really matters. Good food, fair prices.
Simple pleasures.
Exactly. So it brings us to a really interesting question. Can those smaller places, those local restaurants, actually fight back?
Against all of this.
Yeah, against the chains, against the trends, against the hype.
Well, that's a great place to leave it for now, don't you think?
I think so. We've got a lot to unpack. Okay, so the blog, it doesn't just like point fingers.
Oh.
No, it actually offers some solutions.
Solutions to all these problems we've been talking about.
Exactly. And like a lot of it comes down to mindset.
Mindset shift.
Yeah, for both the restaurants and the diners.
Okay, so what are we shifting from? And to?
Well, for restaurants, it's about moving away from, like, just chasing profits, that short-term thinking.
Okay, so what? Like a more long-term vision?
Yeah, exactly. Thinking about sustainability for their business, but also for the community.
So not just seeing tourists as dollar signs.
Yeah. And it's about, treating staff well.
Yep.
Investing in them.
Makes sense. Happy staff, happy customers.
Exactly. But it's also about the diners, right?
We have to shift our mindset, too.
I think so. The blog is saying we need to be more conscious.
Conscious of what?
Of our choices, like where we eat, what we order.
So not just picking the cheapest place. Or the one with the best Instagram photos.
Yeah. Like thinking about the bigger picture. Where's the food coming from? How are the staff treated?
Are they trying to be authentic?
All of that. It's about using our power,
Our power as customers.
Yeah. Supporting the restaurants that are doing things right.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got this mindset shift. What else does the blog suggest?
Well, a big one is local identity.
Like we were talking about before.
Yeah. Using those local ingredients, telling their story.
Tell their story. What does that even mean?
Like, going beyond just listing ingredients, sharing the history, the culture behind a dish.
Ooh, I like that. Like highlighting the farmers, the producers.
Exactly. Making it more than just a meal. It's an experience.
But I mean, isn't that risky? Like, what if tourists, they just want familiar food?
That's a good point. But the blog is arguing that actually tourists are looking for authentic experiences.
Want to taste the place, not just eat the same old thing.
Exactly. And it's not just about the tourists, right? It's about the locals too, like taking pride in their cuisine.
I love that. Okay, so local identity, what else?
Quality over quantity.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's like, pushing back against that whole all-you-can-eat mentality.
Yeah.
Focusing on, like, fresh ingredients, even if that means smaller menus or, slightly higher prices.
It's about savoring the experience, right?
Yeah.
Not just stuffing yourself.
Yeah. Appreciating the quality. And, I mean, that kind of brings us back to prices, right?
Yeah, because we talked about how those price hikes were a problem. Does the blog have any solutions for that?
Well, it doesn't say, like, everyone needs to lower their prices, but it does say that transparency is key.
Like being upfront with customers.
Yeah. Explaining why prices have gone up, highlighting the cost of ingredients or, staff training.
And I guess making sure that the price actually reflects the value.
Exactly. Like, people are willing to pay more, but they need to know why.
Okay, so we've got local identity, quality, transparency, anything else?
One more thing, innovation.
Oh, like new dishes?
Yeah.
New concepts?
Thinking outside the box,
Mhm.
not just copying what everyone else is doing.
So no more Dubai Fritters knockoffs.
Yeah. Maybe a few less. But seriously, it's about encouraging restaurants to be creative, to
Yeah.
experiment.
To create those wow moments.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be complicated, right? It could be a new ingredient, a different way of presenting a dish.
It's about that special touch.
Exactly.
So basically, the blog is saying that the future of Croatian restaurants is, well, pretty bright.
It could be. If they embrace their local identity, focus on quality, and get creative.
And if we, as diners, support them.
It's a team effort.
It is. But I'm wondering, like, it's a great vision, but can it actually happen? Can those smaller places, the ones that are, doing it right, can they actually survive?
It's tough. The blog, it's honest about the challenges, especially with all the pressure to cater to tourists.
Like appeal to everyone.
Yeah, and sometimes that means sacrificing quality.
It's the Dubai fritter problem all over again.
Exactly. But there's hope.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Well, the blog says that people are changing. Like, diners are becoming more aware
Aware of what?
of, like, where their food's coming from, how it's made.
Oh, so they're looking for more than just a cheap meal.
Yeah. They want something real, something authentic, something with, like, a story behind it.
And that's good news for those smaller restaurants.
Absolutely. Because those are the places that can offer that, right?
Yeah. They're not stuck with some, corporate menu.
They have the freedom to experiment, to use local ingredients, to really connect with their customers.
It's like, okay, imagine this. You can listen to a recording of a song,
Okay.
or you can go see that band live.
Ooh, I see what you're getting at.
One is, like, technically perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but the other one, the live performance, it has that energy.
That heart.
Exactly.
Mm.
And we need to support those live performers in the food world.
The chefs, the
Yeah.
restaurants that are putting their soul into it.
So how do we do that? How do we make sure those places don't disappear?
Well, it starts with us,
You
right?
diners.
Yeah. Being conscious of our choices, like doing a little research.
Like before we even go to a restaurant.
Yeah. Check out their website, their social media, see what they're about.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, absolutely. Like, talk to the staff, ask about the ingredients.
And tell them when they're doing a good job.
Yeah. And tell your friends. Write reviews. Share it on social media.
Get the word out.
Exactly. Because those smaller places, they might not have a big marketing budget.
Right. They rely on word of mouth.
And, it's also about just being a good customer.
What do you mean?
Like, showing up on time, being respectful to the staff,
Oh, yeah.
the little things.
That adds up.
So it's a two-way street. The restaurants need to step up, but we need to support them.
We're all in this together.
We are. So next time you're planning a dinner out, think about it. Be curious, be adventurous, and be mindful. Your choices, they really do matter.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Happy eating, everyone.